Hello, Nick Anderson, editorial cartoonist for the Washington Post Writers Group here, and I'm going to be doing a little digital painting today. I'm doing a cartoon right now. Let me get this reoriented. On doing this on Harvey Weinstein, and the Weinstein Group filed for bankruptcy. Is saying they're filing for bankruptcy this week, so I'm doing a cartoon on that. Kind of a break from all the Trump stuff. Boy, my face looks very yellow. Change this color on my lighting a little bit. Now I'm blinded. First thing I gotta do is create another layer. Take that line art and put it on another layer and lock it. I sometimes forget to do that, and I'll get deep into the cartoon and forget that I have not put my line art on a separate layer, and then I've got to start all over again. That is the last thing I want to do. So it's really critical when you're working with line art to create a separate layer. Saving it in native, using an acrylic brush variant for skin tones. Well, you know, sometimes I don't like to use this watercolor brush usually for skin tones because it has a lot of texture, but because his skin tone isn't real attractive, in this case it might actually be the right, yeah, I think this is the right texture for his face. Doesn't have the best complexion, so I'm going to zoom in on that so you can see what I'm doing. I don't know why my doesn't seem like my keyboard is there we go. Keyboard might have been asleep. So I'm just doing kind of a wash to begin with. And I'll come back in and add detail. I usually start with the skin tones and then work out from there. So I'm going to do a digital dry of that. When you're working with digital watercolors, and you command it to dry, and you paint over it, it gets darker. When you don't dry it, it doesn't get darker. That's how you layer in watercolors, same way you do in natural media. So I'm gonna go take a look at his face a little bit, get a better idea for his skin color. A little pale. He's always got stubble, so I'll go back in and sort of add some white because it's kind of grayish stubble. Kind of got dark under his eyes. So I'm going to use blue because it's across the color wheel from orange, so it's the complement. Complementary color. I am not making him look good, but he is not a good man. So I'm going to go back in and add and take away some of my mistakes. It's a nice thing about working in layers. I can erase without messing with my line art. Make the teeth white-ish. Add some highlight. Got some dead mouse on in the background. It's a good evening. I am working from home. I am working at night right now. One good thing about the current situation, I make my own hours. Unfortunately, that often means I'm working a lot. I'm going to pull this in a little closer so you can see over my shoulder a little bit more. So soon I will be posting a how to draw Trump video, so be sure to subscribe. So I don't know if you noticed, but he has sort of salt and pepper stubble. So one thing about looking at this in Corel Painter, the resolution doesn't look that good. It'll look better when I pull the color into Photoshop and do the layers. I take the later on I will take the color, just the color, and add it with the photoshopped line art, which is a much cleaner version of the line art, and that will make the whole thing look much sharper. Using a Wacom Cintiq 28-inch monitor. It's got this little doohickey here for changing brush size, all that other stuff, a bunch of buttons for picking my eraser and stuff like that. It's got a magnet on it, but I don't like it because it slides down. I liked it better when they had it attached. So, Wacom, if you're listening, change that. I'm not crazy about that. Or if you're going to do it, make the magnet stronger. This thing also has the touch, but it doesn't work very well. You're supposed to be able to rotate it, but I end up not using it much because it's not very responsive. So now I'm going to create a different layer for his clothes so that I don't mess with the color I've already laid down. I'm going to turn down the volume on my music. I'll often listen to CNN or something like that when I'm working so I can catch up on the news while I'm drawing my current cartoon. But I didn't think dialogue in the background was going to be very good for being able to understand what I'm saying. So as soon as I'm drawing one cartoon, I'm already thinking about my next one. There's always a deadline, so I've got to always be thinking about the next cartoon. I hide my kids' names in all my cartoons. Well, I got a little lazy about it for a while. I can't really see them now because the resolution of this isn't very high, but they're here in the leg. Travis and Colton. In the finished one, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. I've been doing a lot of Trump cartoons lately. I got a little burned out on it. So I'll probably go back to it tomorrow though. Just when you think he's said enough idiotic things, he says something else. Never a dull moment. So as you can see, I'm adding layer after layer, and you'll see me touch my keyboard every once in a while. And when I'm touching it, I'm usually hitting the dry command, and that means, as I said before, I want to get it darker now. Added in enough of that shade, and I want to go with make it a little bit darker now. Now, as I mentioned, I am on the different layer, so I can correct this little mess up there without messing up the layer above it. All right. And I will not paint the entire cartoon for you because I'm going to run out of things to say if I do the whole thing. But you can subscribe to the channel. I will post a link to the finished cartoon beneath the video. And you can take a look and see how it turned out there. Still got some background to do. This is actually going a lot faster than usual. I think I'm painting faster when I know someone's watching. Actually, I want to probably polish this up a little bit more in here. It's a little rough. How fast are we at here? 12 minutes. That's probably long enough. That's it for tonight. Thank you very much.